It's a bit of a funny story how I fell into immigration. I have a degree in communications, and I also have a certificate in human resources management. And my passion was always getting people to the right place, putting the people where they need to go, getting people from A to B. And I really enjoyed helping people get that. I started out in event planning. So it was getting people on a plane to a conference and getting home again. That was my job. And over the years, I've worked in building software. I've worked for English language schools, helping students work and study in Canada. And I just really enjoyed immigration. When I worked for Go International, I found that I really understood immigration and that lots of people had questions about it, lots of people needed help. And I knew it was something that I could do as my own business because I wanted to own my own business one day and work from home. I decided to ask a couple of RCICs about their work, and they told me that it's a great industry. There's no competition. We're always busy, and so I started taking the course and became an RCIC back in 2015. Probably personally, my favorite thing is the stories, the people and the stories. I mean, besides their blood type and shoe size, you know everything about a person and their background and their family, and you form a very strong relationship with them. Some of my clients I've been working with for over 4 years just because of various hurdles and challenges that we've faced. So you really get a sense of, who this person is, who are they bringing to Canada, what are they doing, why are they coming to Canada, what do they want to do here? And it's fascinating. Everybody has a story, so that's my favorite part. When you're talking with a client, whether you're in person or on Zoom, you're not just explaining different immigration programs to them and what they're eligible for. You have to put it into context of their life and their goals and what they want to do. And you have to, come up with an immigration plan and strategies that work with their life. Just because they're eligible for a program doesn't mean it's necessarily right for them based on their age, their demographic, what their career is, and what their long-term goal is. So it really can be, you do act a little bit like a therapist or a career counselor sometimes because for instance, if someone is considering speaking, learning French to try and get permanent residency, I say, well, is that a really good use of your time? Do you need to know French in your future? Have you ever wanted to learn French? And if the answer is no, I don't think that's a good time. I don't think that's a good way to spend your time and money. Maybe let's look at another way that you could, get permanent residency. If someone is trying to get permanent residency to Canada, but I can tell that it's going to be a long, hard road, that they don't have a lot of options. I'm very open and honest with them that perhaps the possibility is you might go back home to your home country and try again in a few years, or try a different country. Maybe Canada's not the right country for you. So it really is a very frank, open, honest conversation with people about what their plans are, what works for them. Um, and not pushing anybody into any decisions because these are the type of plans and ideas that we talk about with our clients are life changing. And so it has to be good. It has to make sense and it has to work for the client. You really need to have some good people skills to be able to relate to people, ensure people trust you, that you don't come across as too pushy or salesy, and that you can really make them feel supported. Um, they're hiring you to take the stress off of them. So we shouldn't be adding more stress to their plate. So again, often why I have a role as a therapist because sometimes clients will come to me really stressed out and I have to work with them to say, look, you're paying me to stress for you. So let me worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. Or you just need to explain it to them in a different way. So a lot of times it can just be helping people get through the process emotionally and mentally. I think there's a great need for RCICs who like to do a little bit of something different as well. So if you have an RCIC who works in your office and one of them is really good at social media and one of them is really good at bookkeeping or administration, you can build a team like that because we all come from different backgrounds with different skills. I love to talk to people. I love to train and teach. So I'm good on Zoom and I love presenting, whereas, other RCICs may not be comfortable doing that. So I do think that you can be an RCIC, but also sort of make a niche for yourself with another type of skill or ability. In my practice, I take on interns and I love having interns join my company. I love to co-counsel with new RCICs, new graduates, to help them in their business. I have taught in-person seminars to clients. I've done presentations for Ashton College, for instance, KPIC, and also Queen's University. And I really love sharing what I know and helping new RCICs get a sense of what the job is going to be like, what the industry's like. And so not only do I get to do the immigration part, but I get to also play a role as a mentor and a trainer. And that's a big passion of mine. So I think having found that niche in my life, in my career, has been a big achievement for me. I have many RCIC friends that we email, phone, meet up for coffee, and share our challenges, our questions. You need to have that kind of support in this industry, especially when policies and programs are changing so rapidly. You can't be an expert in everything. So knowing I have a huge database on my computer of RCICs who I reach out to depending on my question. If my question is about spousal sponsorship, I go to one RCIC. If my question is about refugees, I go to another. And it's great that anytime I've ever contacted an RCIC, we're all happy to talk to each other. We're all happy to help each other because we know that, you know what, one day I might need your advice. I might need your help. And I think that's really important, um, to not feel alone and to also ensure that you're constantly learning and getting the correct information. So every couple of years, I sort of want to learn something new. And more recently, I've been trying to learn about LMIAs more because I see that there's a need for them more often now, to get more points in express entry. And but I also see a need for clients to do their own application, but they still need some support. There's kind of a middle range. Usually it's either they do it themselves and ask us to review it, or we do all the work for them. But there is this middle ground client that's kind of DIY, do it yourself, but they have some questions. And so I'm working with a couple of RCICs on how we can structure our businesses to cater to those people as well. That's where I'm seeing the future of immigration going, is still being there for people who need you to handle everything. But I think also offering a middle ground service, just because, the people I work with mostly are in their 20s and 30s. They're all very tech savvy. They're on their phones and they do understand portals and things much better than, say, than we did like 10, 20 years ago. And so what kind of a system is best for them where they can easily access an RCIC but don't have to like book an appointment? If you're a brand new RCIC and you haven't worked in immigration before or not for very long, I would really, really, really suggest trying to find an RCIC who you can either practice with, maybe a few hours a week, helping them do administrative work, um, or even doing a full-time internship with them. Um, so I think that if you can find those relationships and work with other RCICs, doesn't necessarily have to be a full-time position. Again, maybe it's only 5 hours per week, but being able to help them in their business will teach you a lot about how to run a good immigration consultancy business. So I would really highly suggest either getting a job in a firm, with a company, or interning with a sole proprietor, before you go out on your own.